I'm on live right now on YouTube at Free and Beat the Odds. That's the name of the channel. Check me out. I'm live right now taking questions. Yo, what's up, man? How y'all doing today? Welcome to episode of Free and Beat the Odds. This is gonna be a Q&A. So if anybody's got any questions, hit them on the live chat, and I'll answer them to the best of my ability. And hopefully y'all will be satisfied. We'll fix this live stream shit that I've been having problems with. Welcome to the channel, whoever you are. My name's Matt. I've done 3 bids in the North Carolina Department of Corrections. I've been to 7 different institutions. Spent a little bit of different time at each one. Ain't done a whole heck of a lot of time, but I've done enough to know the ins and outs of the system and the different camps that I went to. So if anyone has any questions, it looks like the live chat's open. So go ahead and introduce yourself and ask a question if you got one. It's just me, man. It's just me right now. So well, let's start out with some things, man. I am an alcoholic and a drug addict, but I haven't used drugs since 2014. Or no, I'm sorry. I haven't used drugs since 2018. I haven't had a drink other than, 3 drinks. I've had 3 drinks since 2014. So, any questions about that and my recovery, feel free to ask about anything, man. It's an open book. You want to know about me? Here's your chance, man. Here's your chance to ask. And I did all my time standing on my feet. I never told on anyone. Um, I was approached just like anyone that gets a drug charge gets approached. I told them to go fuck themselves. And here I sit after I did my time. And I'm proud to say that I kept my honor intact. Uh, I have a blemish-free stellar record. Um, so my trustworthiness is without question. You can ask many people that know me. I'm 6'4", 236 pounds. And I know how to move that 236 pounds around right quick like too. So I never had any real problems like that of people. You hear the story about, when you get to prison, find the biggest, baddest motherfucker on the yard and punch him in the grill. And that'll cement you as as a hard ass on the yard. Nobody will fuck with you. First of all, there's a couple things wrong with that statement. First of all, you go punch the biggest, baddest motherfucker on the yard, which I was not. I happened to be one of the biggest. I was probably one of the tallest because I'm 6'4". But you go punching the biggest man on the yard, chances are he's gonna whoop your motherfucking ass for that. Second of all, that shit don't matter. You can punch the biggest, baddest motherfucker on the yard, you still gonna have somebody that's gonna try you. So none of that shit matters. You know what I mean? What matters the most on a prison yard, how you carry yourself, what your previous record is, what your charge is going in there, and the people that you know on the outside that might know other people, or the people that you know on the inside that can vouch for your record and that can vouch for who you are as a person. All right, those are the big things on a prison yard in North Carolina. So that whole punch the biggest man on the yard thing, you go doing that, you liable to get yourself killed. So don't listen to that kind of crap. That's just people talking shit, trying to scare you. Um, Another thing, when you get to prison for the first time, you don't know what to expect. Of course, it's going to be very intimidating. All right, you're going to be intimidated as soon as you pull up to the place just by the look of it, just by the look of the fences with the Constantine wire on top, with the towers and all this, that, and the third. Um, Believe it or not, I wasn't intimidated by the first yard I went to. Not after processing is a prison, but you only stay there for anywhere from 4 weeks to maybe 2 months until they get you classified. Then they send you to your permanent facility. And when I got to my permanent facility, I wasn't really intimidated. It was more of Lord have mercy, man. How the hell did I get here? Why did I do the dumb shit that I did to get here? And then once you get in there and you start learning how things go and who's who and what's what, the intimidation level starts to fall. And you'll definitely find some people you can click up with. Now, in prison, it's a whole nother world. There's good people, there's bad people, there's normal people, and then there's sociopaths. Okay, you want to stay away from the bad people and the sociopaths. All right, because they're the ones that's going to get you in trouble and make your time longer and possibly get you an outside street charge. Hey, let me do something about this light, man. Hopefully this will do better. Did that do a little bit better? Yeah, that's a little bit better. That's the best I can do. I'm out here in my garage smoking a cigarette. Um, so where was I at? Oh yeah, the intimidation factor. Once you get into the prison, you learn how things work. You learn it takes a little while. You're not gonna learn it all in the first day. You're not gonna even learn it all in the first week. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna take you a good few weeks to get acclimated to the new environment that you have to live in. But us guys that are from the street, we have this unique ability to be able to adapt in any situation that we find ourselves in. So it wasn't very hard for me to adapt to the situation that I found myself in. Now, when I say I didn't have too many problems, I wasn't talking about did I not have to fight or did I not have to prove myself on the yard. Yes, I did more than once. Um, but I didn't have too many problems as like finding good people and normal people that I could hang out with, people I could trust. You know what I'm saying? People that I knew could trust me and they knew they could trust me. You know what I'm saying? If shit ever hit the fan, if shit ever went down. So, um, that takes a little bit longer for you to find those people. You know what I'm saying? So you just got to stick it out, man. And this unique ability that we have to adapt to our surroundings goes a long way. And another thing that goes a long way is the ability to read people, read body language, because that's how you can tell if something's getting ready to go down. And you can definitely tell if something's getting ready to go down on you, because you'll notice things are not as they normally are. See, in prison, things are regimented. They go day by day, the same every day. And when somebody or something breaks that everyday monotony, you gotta wonder why. You know what I'm saying? Like if someone's going, all right, say for chow, for example, there's a line going this way and there's a line coming back out of the chow hall. Somebody somebody cuts in a line, or if they're trying to move back or up many places, and you have to notice these things. You have to be not paranoid. I don't call it paranoia, I call it hypervigilance. You have to be very hypervigilant to your surroundings and the people that you're surrounded by. And you can normally tell who's going to be the hard ass, the asshole type that you don't want to be around. You can normally tell who they are within the first couple of weeks. You know what I mean? Some of them are going to approach you. One situation I can remember on my first trip to prison was this guy I had been in processing with that just happened to be from the same town as me. And it was Friday. Friday cards click. When I say cards click, that means you get your commissary money every Friday. Okay, and you get it on a card. Well, back then, this is 2006, 2007. So this was still a cash camp. They would call your dormitory to go to the auditorium. So, and then they would sit y'all all down, and then they would call you up by name and opus number. Your opus number is your prison number here in North Carolina. So they call your name and number to come up there and pick up however much money you got on your books. And back then it was $40 a week. So you could pick it up in either fives, tens, or ones. And that was the biggest bills they had. Or actually, I think it was just fives and ones. I can't remember. It's been so long ago. And I remember it was Friday, and we had just clicked cards, and I was coming out. We had already done count time. We had just come back from chow, and it was third yard. We had a day. It was third yard, and I walk out, and I'm going out towards the weight pile, and to get my workout in, and this big old black dude, taller than me, that I just happened to be in processing with, it happened to be from here in town where I live. And he walks up to me, he said, "Hey man, let me hold a little something, bro. I'm broke as fuck, man. My money looking funny." And I said, "Well, bro, I don't know what to tell you to do but to laugh at it. If your money looking funny, the best thing you can do is laugh at it, bro, because I got nothing for you." And he didn't take that as no disrespect. He just took that as, well, he ain't no pushover. I ain't gonna be able to eat off of him, because he wasn't gonna try me. Because if he'd have tried me, I had two of my homeboys standing right there. He'd have got stomped out. And so that's one of the things you got to watch out for. People preying on the weak. They're gonna test you and see where your heart's at. See if you got the heart to jump when it's time to jump. And by what you say to them and how you act towards them, in most cases in a respectful manner. You don't do these things like, "Fuck you, man, fuck you, I ain't giving you a fucking thing." You talk to somebody like that, you're asking for trouble. You know what I'm saying? Prison is built upon respect. You know what I'm saying? You bump into somebody, you say, "Excuse me, I apologize." You know what I'm saying? "Excuse me, I apologize about that, bro. I ain't mean to do that." You know what I'm saying? You bump into somebody and say, "The fuck out my way." That's fighting words. You're gonna have to deal with that. Right, either right then or when you get back to the dorm. You're gonna have to deal with that. So, it goes back to the things I said before, man. The best phrases you can use in prison is "yes ma'am, no ma'am," "yes sir, no sir," "please," "thank you," and "excuse me." You use them 5 words and you use them correctly, and you use them without being disrespectful, chances are your time will go by without too many problems. You're gonna have problems. There's no way you're gonna make it through I would say a year or more bid without getting into some sort of a fight, because you're in there with a bunch of criminals. Okay, no one's in there for singing too loud in church. You're in there with a bunch of criminals. You're in there with um, a lot of type A personalities. Everybody wants to be the big guy on campus, the top dog. Everybody wants to be that guy. And, you're in there with guys that come off the street, and a lot of times they got a lot of time to do. So, or they've already done a lot of time. So they expect you to be courteous and respectful to them. You know what I mean? This is their home. You're just a visitor. When you catch somebody with an elbow and you're disrespectful to them, chances are you're gonna find a piece of lead up in you, a piece of steel. You're gonna get steel poisoning. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole nother world that's built around respect, and any slight of that respect can cause violence at any time. And chances are you're going to get caught up in that violence. Somebody will blatantly disrespect you on purpose just to see what you're going to do. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how prison is made. That's just who's in there. That's the type of caliber of person you're around. So, my best advice is keep your head down, stay low, mind your own business. And here's another one I ain't heard: reckless eyeballing. You know what I'm saying? Eyeballing, looking around, getting in people's business, watching people while they're conducting their business. That's reckless eyeballing, man. And you don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if someone were to get stomped out right in front of my bunk, and then the COs come and ask me, "Hey man, what happened?" I don't know. I ain't see shit. I was asleep. Or I don't know what happened, man. I was reading my book. You never saw nothing. Never saw nothing. Even if it happened right in front of your face. Even if you did it. I don't know what happened. And you stick to that. And that goes towards your reputation, man. That's what builds a stellar reputation inside prison. And that's what you want, because that causes you the least amount of problems. That'll earn you respect on the yard just by keeping your mouth shut. If you saw something happen, keep your mouth shut, and that'll earn you respect on the yard, a little bit of respect on the yard. You know what I'm saying? It'll open doors for you. It'll allow you to talk to people that usually probably wouldn't talk to you because they don't trust you. Trust is another big issue in there. No one trusts anyone until you find your homeboys, them ones that's gonna ride with you to ride with you hard, fuck with you hard. Then trust you don't trust anyone else for nothing. You don't trust them for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, some guys have earned the respect because of the amount of time they've done, how they've done their time, and you can tell who these people are. And those guys earn, just off rip, get a little bit of trust, because you can tell what a convict is and what an inmate is. Okay? A convict lives by a code. Okay, there's a code, and it's the code of America. It's the code of the street. All right, an inmate don't live by them codes. They're the ones that's always in the police's face, telling them God knows what. They may not be telling them nothing, but the fact that they're in the police's face all the time raises that red flag. You know what I'm saying? So you got that they stay in the police's face. They get trustee jobs where the police tell them what to do, and they get this mental, I don't know what it is, they get this mindset like because they mop and clean up after lights out that this is their block. You know what I'm saying? Now there's other instances of convicts acting that way, but for good reason. Like, say you just got new benches out on the weight pile. They don't want you taking your dumbbells after you done working on them and sticking them on them benches, because that ruins the benches for everybody. That's not being an inmate or a snitch or anything bad like that. That's them taking care of the stuff that they use also. You know what I'm saying? Trying to make shit last. You know what I mean? Take care of a little something while you're in there because you got to live there. And usually these are the guys that have a lot of time, you know, got elbows and been in there for a long time. Anybody with an elbow is not going to be at a campus, got weights anyway. They ain't going to make it that, they can't make it that far down. Although I did meet one inmate that got put from death row all the way down to whenever I was about to get out and I was in minimum security, made it all the way down to minimum security and was up for parole within 5 years because his death penalty, what was it? There was a moratorium and they moved all the death penalties to life cases. His life case came before 1987, which meant it was old law, which meant after 25 years he could get parole. So they moved him. He was down on minimum security and was coming up for parole. So that's the only man I ever met that made it from death row all the way down to probably out now. It's probably out. So yeah, and that can't happen. It can't happen anymore. I don't think. I don't know what this COVID thing is doing. I got a good friend of mine that if you got, in this state we call it new law. If you got, when you get sentenced, they're gonna sentence you to something like 10 to 12 months, 12 to 15 months. You know what I'm saying? 36 to 43. They're going to charge you with something like that. That's your maximum and your minimum. You can't go below your maximum. I mean, you can't go below your minimum and above your maximum. Now they've instituted parole, mandatory parole. So, say you get a 10 to 12 month sentence. Your sentence is really 10 to 21 because they tack that 9 months on the end of your maximum. Okay, that means when you do your 12 months, if you max out, get out, you still have to do 9 months of parole. And if you fuck that 9 months of parole up, you go back to prison to finish out whatever parole you didn't finish. You see what I'm saying? So really your maximum is the end of your maximum date plus 9 months. Now, if you get your minimum date, you still got to do the 9 months. It don't matter what the charge is, you're doing 9 months post-release. They call it post-release. So you're doing 9 months on the end of it. And that wasn't instituted whenever I was in prison. Whenever it came into effect December 1st, I got out on September 14th. So I narrowly beat it, which didn't really fucking matter because I was in trouble 6 months later and I was right back in the county jail facing some time. But the judge had pity on me and gave me probation instead. And I did 5.5 years on probation. They gave me a long probation term. Actually, they didn't give me a long probation term. I kept fucking probation up. They kept extending it. So until the very end, I got to 2 days. My probation officer has 6 violations on me. Mostly it was failed drug tests and monies owed. I did this program called Task that you have to do within your first 30 days on probation, I did task, completed task in the allotted amount of time, but they switched me probation officers. During that switch, my paperwork got lost, and the only thing they got was my completion paper. They didn't get all the other paperwork that they needed in between in there where I had been going and all this, that, and the third. So I had to redo task. And when I redid task, I never completed the second task. So that was another violation. Now, when I go in front of the judge, she had violated me, which was 2 days before. When you get put on probation, you get a court date that day. Say you get a year of probation, supervised probation. All right, and it's October 1st. All right, you'll get another court date on October 1st that following year. That's your release date from probation. You have to go back in front of the judge. The judge will agree with the prosecutor. He's completed his probation. You can release him. The judge will say, okay, Mr. What's his name? You're released from probation. So you have to go back in front of the judge to be released from parole or probation. All right. I was 2 days away from that final court date. All right. She hit me with 6 violations. All right. But I was ready. I had went and got my jail credit from all them violations I had done. I went and got my jail credit. I went and got letters from my boss men and all the guys I worked with, giving character statements. I went and got I had family members in the court that could stand up and vouch for me that I haven't had a drink and I do not use drugs anymore. I had a sponsor there that could verify that. And so when I got my lawyer walks me out of the courtroom and says they want to give you 90 days. I said, I ain't taking 90 days. Not after all this probation, not after all the shit that I done been through. I'm not taking 90 days. I want off probation. And she said, hold on, let me go talk to him. So she goes in there, leaves me in the waiting room, comes back out. She said, look, they're going to ask for 90 days. And chances are you're going to get it. I said, okay, you know what? I don't need your services anymore. She had not done not near one a bit of her homework. She didn't have my jail credit. She didn't have anything for me. My college that I had been to and the college I had done, any of the good that I had done, she had not done any of her homework. She was just up there going to say, okay, he's a pillar of the community and has a job. And we need him out here. That's all she was going to say. So I told her right then and there, I said, I do not need your services anymore. She said, would you like to go in there and tell the judge that? I said, lead the way. So she went in there. We had to stand there for a minute, let this case get through. We got in front of the judge. She said, Your Honor, Mr. Such and Such here has come to the conclusion that he does not need my services anymore and would like to handle his case on his own. The judge looked at me and said, Sir, are you sure this is what you want to do? I said, yes, sir, this is what I want to do. He said, all right, you're free, Miss whatever her name was, you can go now. And that's the only time I've ever fired an attorney. So I get in front of the judge and I've got all this paperwork. I've got my jail credit. I've got all these letters. I got my people there with me. And I'm the last person in the courtroom to be heard. Like, as I'm standing up there, like when my name gets called, the bailiff is walking around to the back to lock the doors. Like we're the only people left in the courtroom. And I told the matter of fact, the prosecutor gets to speak first. So it's the prosecutor, my probation officer, and I think her supervisor was over there. And then it was just me at this table. And they said exactly what that lawyer said. They were wanting 90 days incarceration and blah, 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 and these programs and this and that and the third. And I said, oh, and the judge said, okay, Mr. Such and Such, do you have anything to say on your behalf? I said, yes, sir, I do. I said, first of all, I have this right here is my jail credit. I had it in a sealed envelope. You have to go to the jailhouse and get them to print out your jail credit. You can't go down to the magistrate's office and get it done anymore. You have to go to the jail, have them printed out. So I took an envelope. I went to the jailhouse. I had them printed out. And before he even handed it to me, I handed him this envelope. I said, sir, can you fold that up, please, and seal it in this envelope so I don't touch it? And he sealed it in that envelope and wrote the county that it came from, where my jail credit was at, on it. I said, okay, thank you, sir. I really appreciate that. There was another officer there talking about, why are you doing that for him? You ain't got to do that for him. I said, excuse me, bro, but I ain't talking to you. You know what I'm saying? And then it turned into like a little back and forth for a second with me and him while the other guy was printing off my jail credit. Okay, so I go in there and I got my jail credit, and I give it to the lady, or I give it to the judge, and the prosecutor says, Your Honor, I'd like to see those papers. And he said, okay, because you can't have no surprises, whatever. They get to see everything the judge gets to see. So he handed it back to the bailiff. Bailiff walked it over to the prosecutor. Prosecutor reads the jail credit. Prosecutor reads the letters from my employer and employees, and they didn't get to question the people back there because they weren't taking the stand. They were just gonna stand in there. They were just gonna stand up and tell their, they were my character witnesses. So after they okay the paperwork, they give it back to the judge, and to my surprisement, the judge actually looked at each piece of paper. He folded each piece of paper over. He calculated up the jail time. All right, and then whenever it came time to look at the character statements, he actually took each piece of paper and read each word on each one of them. Instead of just flipping through like that, he read every one of them, not out loud, but to himself. He read every single one of them, to my surprisement. And then I said, Your Honor, I have some people here that would like to speak on my behalf as well. He said, okay. My mother got up and spoke. My brother got up and spoke, and a couple other people got up and spoke. And the judge said, you know what, Mr. Davis, I see you've made some mistakes here, but you've been on probation for a long time for a very little bit of stuff, for a very minor crime. He said, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you 30 days in jail, and after that, you're done. I don't want to hear nothing else about it. You're done after that. And I said, where's the paper at? Let me sign it. I said, give me that paper. Give me the pen. Where's the pen at? And I signed in 30 days, and they took me on to the back. And so I beat by myself the district attorney, my probation officer, and her supervisor, who were going for 90 days in jail, 90-day program, and halfway house after I got out. I beat all that and just got 30 days, all on my own. I did all the legwork. I had to go to the jail. I had to get these statements. I had to do this. I had to quit. I had to do it all. My lawyer didn't do shit. That lazy bitch ain't worth 2 cents in my fucking book. And if I knew her fucking name, I'd be spreading it all over fucking town, man. She ain't do shit for me. So I took my 30 days and did them. I went on to the back. I was on methadone at the time. I was on 92 milligrams of methadone a day. They don't give methadone at the county jail here. They give you 3 days worth of vitamins and Valium, 3 days worth, and it's on a taper, and then that's it. If you want an ibuprofen in the county jail I'm at here, it costs you $20 for a sick call. $20 to get an ibuprofen. And that's not even guaranteed that they're going to give you the ibuprofen. That's if you can get into the medical. And medical takes you about a week to even get in there. So I get in there. I finally get in there. I get told by one of the nurses that, uh, she looked out for me. She said, "Look, if you want to get some medicine for yourself, you have to tell them that it's for chronic injury. You can't say I'm just hurting and I need something. You have to say it's for a chronic injury," which it was. It was from a car accident. I got back problems from that. That's never healed, and it is chronic pain that I feel every day. And so I wrote it down like she said, write it down. And sure enough, I was right in there to the doctor, and the doctor wrote me for not just ibuprofen. She gave me prescription strength something. Prescription strength Aleve, I think it was. I don't know what the generic term for Aleve is, but it was prescription strength Aleve. And so she gave me that, and I was getting it 3 times a day, every day. But that only lasts for 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, you have to fill out another sick call and go back up there to get your prescription renewed. So that means you have to fill it out a week early so you don't run out of medicine, so you can get back up there and they can renew it. So I had to do that. So it cost me $40 in medical cost just to get some Aleve in the county jail. $40 worth of sick call up there. So it was worth it, because coming down off of that methadone cold turkey, I'm telling you, was the worst hell on earth I have ever been through. And I am not exaggerating when I say that. I would rather come off of heroin. I would rather come off of any other drug. There is no other drug worse to come off of than heroin. None. Except for maybe stone cold alcoholics that are drinking half gallons a day by themselves, or people that are on benzos taking 120 2 milligram whatevers a day for 10 years, because those two can kill you when you come off of them. But as far as the pain, the uncomfortableness, the shitting, the throwing up, the can't get comfortable, laying on the concrete floor, beating my head against the wall, the depression, the anxiety, all of that coupled all together. Not to mention, I'm coming off of caffeine withdrawals, because there's no coffee. The coffee there doesn't have, that you buy off canteen, ain't got no caffeine in it. Nicotine withdrawals, because there ain't no smoking. Well, there is, but very few and far between when you find a cigarette in there. Because this prison, this is jail, is built like a maximum security prison. Okay, so it was the worst time I've ever had in my fucking life. And 30 days had went by, and by the time I came home, I was still sick. After 30 days, I was still sick. Not shitting and throwing up on myself. Not, I was eating after 2 weeks. 2 weeks, that part's over with. But then it changes into a different part of withdrawals, which is pain, leg shakes and leg spasms, back spasms, sweating, no comfortability, absolutely zero sleep. The sleep you get ain't sleep. It's your body shutting down after being awake for 3 days. It's your body that just shuts down for like an hour and it feels like a blink. I swear to God, it feels just like a blink. It feels like you blinked and woke up and then hours going by. That's what it does to you. Now, methadone is the worst thing I have ever come off of in my life, and I did not come all the way off of it. I could not string. I'm man enough to say I was too weak to come off of that shit all the way by myself. So when I got home, it was like a week had went by, and I was still sick, still not sleeping. I was at home, I was smoking, and I was eating, and I had some caffeine, but those other residual withdrawal symptoms, the non-sleeping, the itchiness, the leg kicks, and all this, that, and the third was still fucking there. So finally, I broke down and went and got something. And I went and got something maybe 3 times before I said, you know what, I don't have a choice. I got to go back and start taking it again. I had to start taking methadone again. And so that's what I did. And that was 2019, and here I sit back on methadone. But when I got out, I went up to 95 milligrams of methadone, and then I started working my way back down to come off of it, and I'm all the way down to 31 more. But and I'm still getting lower, but it just takes time because you have to come down so slow that your body don't feel it, that your body's got time to remake that dopamine that's been getting put into it. So you have to come down real slow so you don't get real sick again. And I'm real low on my dose, and pretty soon I'll be all the way off of it and back to normal, back to that clarity thinking, which I do think clear because I don't use any other drugs. I'm not on anything else. And you can't tell you take once you've been on it so long, it don't get you high. It just gets you by. You just feel normal. You're just not sick. You know what I'm saying? And if you've never had a problem with opiates, if you've never done heroin, if you've never had a problem with pain pills, you'll never understand why we go to methadone. Or you'll never, if you've never been on methadone and tried to come off of it, or been on methadone and had to use it, you'll never understand why we have to use methadone. You'll just say, oh, well, he's just trading one for the other. No, it's not like that. Because whenever you're doing heroin and these other drugs, you're doing them to get high. You're doing extra. You know what I'm saying? You're wanting to get high. This stuff, once you get it right and it's medically done and you're being medically monitored and you're being counseled on the side, you get counseling and things like that, it does not affect you like illegal drugs do. It just keeps you from being sick. That's all. It does not get you high at all. But if you don't take it for a couple of days, you will, and I repeat, you will be sick. So you have to do it right. And I'm doing it right. And I think I'm going to start doing some lives that are geared towards um, letting y'all know how I'm coming off of this stuff, and how I'm not sick. Like, you can look at me and tell right now I'm not sick. And I've only had 31 milligrams of methadone at 5:30 this morning. So I'm not sick. It just gets me by. So Anyway, it only looks like I got one viewer in here. Ain't nobody commenting. I guess nobody cares about asking questions. I was going to answer some questions about prison in North Carolina, but nobody cares to seem to want to ask questions or engage with me any kind of way. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this one off and let it roll. So anyway, man, like and subscribe to the video, or if you don't like it, dislike the video. Just subscribe to the channel. That's all. It's free, man. It don't cost you nothing. All it does is help me out, and I'm just trying to get the word out about these prisons in North Carolina, how they treat you, what's different at each facility that I've been to, and my experience behind the wall. That's all I'm trying to do, and I'm trying to do it in a positive way. And there's a reason I named my channel Free and Beat the Odds, because if you look at the recidivism rate, it's like 80 something percent within the first 3 years. I've been out longer than 3 years, and I haven't been back to prison. I've been to county jail, but I haven't been back to prison. The only reason I went to county jail was for breaking rules, not laws. I broke rules for probation. So that's why I named the channel what I named it, Free and Beat the Odds, because I beat the odds so far. And I continue to hope to beat the odds as I move forward in life and do something better with my life. And I hope you can do the same. I hope the Lord blesses y'all in different ways and the ways you need Him to. And believe it or not, He listens to everything, and your good will come back to you, and so will your bad. So just remember that. And I pray that everyone has a great holiday. And I'm going to say Merry Christmas because I believe in Jesus Christ. And the Lord say, I believe in God and His Son, Jesus Christ. So I'm going to say Merry Christmas to all of y'all and a Happy New Year. Please be safe with this coronavirus. It ain't nothing to play with. It's real. Don't ask me about the vaccines. I don't know anything about them. So all I know is what I'm going to do personally. I'm not going to tell you that because I don't want to influence anyone else's decisions. And I'm going to try to be responsible with that. So, anyway, I'm going to cut this one off and let it roll. But salute to all my homies. And salute to everyone that watches this channel and supports this channel and comments. And I do respond to each and every comment, and I'm thankful for every view and every subscriber that I get. And I want to thank each and every one of y'all for watching and subscribing and commenting. So don't let nothing bring you down. Stay up and stay free. We'll see y'all next time.